What's up, my YT homies? This is Alethea, and in this video I am going to show you the dishes that I made at home for Thanksgiving. Now, I did go and spend time with family, but being the fact that I'm a quote-unquote newfound vegetarian slash bit of pescatarian, I still had to make sure I had something to eat before I went with all of the meat and delicious decadence that of course I was going to find as I went to visit on Thanksgiving Day. So please enjoy the video. So the first dish that I prepared is my collard greens, and for the collard greens I did some orange peppers, green peppers, yellow peppers, and some diced onions that I cut up by hand. I did not use a chopper, might I add, but I cut those up along with some celery, but I didn't use the celery in the collard greens. I used the celery in my dressing, and you'll see that later. So I just put everything in the pot, and then I also added in some garlic because there's nothing like some garlic. And then once I put all that in, I kind of just let it saute and simmer just a little bit. And then once that was done to my liking, as you can see, it's looking all toasty and good, all that goodness. But once all that was done, I added in a half of a container of vegetable stock. I added some water in later, but because I didn't want the whole thing to be just vegetable stock, so I did half of this, and I kept the other half for later with my cornbread dressing. And I said vegetable stock, but that was actually vegetable broth. I don't know if there's a difference between the stock and the broth. I do know with meat there's a stock and a broth, but with vegetable broth, I'm not sure if there's a vegetable stock. So I'm not sure. But anyway, as you can see, I'm adding in the collard greens, and you know, of course they're going to cook down, so it seems like when you put it in there that the pot is just overflowing and full, but they do simmer down. And I was just kind of mixing everything in so that I could have room for the rest of the collard greens to go in once these kind of, you know, simmer down just a little bit. Okay, so now that it's cooked down some, I can add in my seasonings. So I add in garlic powder, Lowry's seasoning salt, and then some basil and some salt. Not too much salt. So I know it seems like I'm probably heavy-handed with this, but I promise you the seasoning, even when I got finished, I still needed a little bit more salt, but you know, it is what it is. So now I'm doing my cornbread dressing, and I know some people put breadcrumbs in their dressing, but I was always taught to use cornbread. That's what my mom did. That's what I do. The only difference in my cornbread dressing that I make and the one that she makes is she puts meat in there, as well as she does put sage, and I don't put sage. But I just take some of the cornbread and I cut it, and then I go in, I slice it up rather, and then I crumble it up into the bowl to get it like just the small broken down pieces to get it ready so it can be all mixed up together for all that ooey gooey goodness. And as you can see, I don't use the full pan of dressing because, the full pan of cornbread, because I don't need a whole lot. And so here I am adding in the rest of those chopped veggies that I chopped up. I'm adding those into the dressing. Once I add those in, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stir all this up and get it all mixed up. It's kind of like getting your dry ingredients mixed up, so to speak. So now at this point, I'm going to pour in the rest of that vegetable broth, and then I'm going to add in 1 egg. My mom has always taught me to add in the egg for stability of the dressing. And then I add in cream of celery. And oh, another thing my mom adds in hers is cream of chicken, but I'm of course not using cream of chicken because I'm not using anything that is a meat-based product unless you include an egg as a meat-based product. But anyway, I'm going to put in some basil seasoning. As you all should be able to tell, well, you haven't seen a lot of my stuff because some stuff is posted on Instagram, but I use basil in a lot of dishes. And then I'm adding in a stick of melted butter, and I'm just gonna mix all of that up. And I don't like for my dressing to be dry, so as you can see, it's really kind of not runny, but it's gonna solidify when it bakes, but it's just all, I'm telling you, it's so delicious. You have to try this recipe. Okay, and so the last thing that I'm going to share with you all are my Brussels sprouts. So I take these and I rinse them off. I only use about 10 of the Brussels sprouts in the bag. Then once I rinse them off, I'm going to cut all of them in half. Now there is another dish that I did make, which is macaroni and cheese, but I did not share my macaroni and cheese recipe. However, if you would like to know my macaroni and cheese recipe, just let me know and I will share it in another video. However, for this video, I chose to keep it with the other dishes. So the first thing I'm going to do with the Brussels sprouts is I'm going to spray this extra virgin olive oil spray by Pam on there. Normally I would just use regular extra virgin olive oil, but I bought this Pam, so why not? And of course, as you can see, I'm putting my basil on there, then I'm putting my seasoning salt, and then I am putting some garlic powder and some black peppercorn on there. I add black peppercorn to a lot of things as well. I am going to later add some minced garlic to this as well. And then once I mix all of this up, I'm just going to place them on a baking sheet, a baking pan for a cake. And that's the type of pan I put it in, and then I put it in the oven and I let it cook for about maybe 25 minutes, and then I took them out. Other than making these dishes that I made for myself, I did make a pot of collard greens, traditional collard greens with meat in them for my future family, future in-laws, and also I made a cake. I baked a cake for my mom. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share this video across all your social media sites. And if you would like to see additional cooking videos on my channel, please do let me know. So until the next time and in between time, you ladies and gentlemen be safe, and I will do what? See you in the next video. Bye.